What if you could use AI, but without anyone watching over your shoulder? Today, we're diving into a token that's trying to make that happen. It's called the Venice Token, or VVV, and its whole mission is built around the wild idea of a truly private artificial intelligence.
I mean, really think about that for a second. Every single time you use one of the big AI models, your entire conversation gets stored, analyzed, and totally controlled by some giant corporation. But what if it didn't have to be like that? What if you could have a conversation with an AI that was completely private, completely uncensored? That is the core question that Venice is trying to answer.
And look, the team behind VVV is not playing around. They put it right out there. They believe centralized AI is a one-way ticket to mass surveillance and control. So they position this whole project as a rebellion against that future, a tool to stop that Orwellian dystopia from ever happening.
So here's our game plan for today. First, we're going to look at their new model for AI and how this whole staking thing works. Then, we'll crash into the brutal reality of the crypto market, get into a scandal that really shook the project, and finally, we'll ask the big question. Is this thing headed for the moon, or is it going to crash and burn?
All right, let's get right into it. To really get what makes Venice so different, we first have to understand the problem they're up against, the world of centralized AI.
This slide pretty much says it all. You've got the mainstream AIs over here, where your data is the product, everything is filtered, and you're paying for every little thing you ask it to do. But then you have Venice, which is proposing a totally different world, one that's private, has zero censorship, and where you access it in a completely different way.
Okay, so that's the big idea. But how does it actually work? I mean, how do you turn a crypto token into a key that unlocks a private AI? Let's get into the mechanics.
First, there's one key term we got to understand: inference. Just think of it as the AI's brainpower. It's the actual process of the model thinking to give you an answer, whether that's spitting out text, creating an image, or writing code. This is the juice, the raw resource that AI runs on.
And here is the secret sauce, what they call the staking loop. Instead of paying every single time you use the AI, you lock up or stake your VVV tokens. By doing that, you get your own slice of the network's total AI power to use for free. So for example, if you stake 1% of all the tokens, you get to use 1% of the AI's thinking power every day. And get this, on top of that, you earn more VVV tokens as a reward. You are literally getting paid to use the AI.
The team has this brilliant analogy. They say, imagine if back in the 90s you had to pay for every single email you sent. Email never would have exploded like it did. By getting rid of that per request cost, they think they can unleash a whole new wave of AI innovation, especially for automated agents that need to be thinking all the time.
But here's the thing. Having a revolutionary idea is one thing. Surviving the absolute chaos of the crypto market, that's a whole different ballgame. Once a token like VVV is out there, it's not just up to the creators anymore.
And that means on any given day, the price chart can look like this. This was VV's performance on a single day, March 28, 2026, a steep, pretty painful drop.
But this wasn't just some random dip.
Oh no,
it was a perfect storm. The price crashed through a really important psychological level for traders, that $6 mark. Then a big-name influencer pointed it out, which just poured gasoline on the fire. And to top it all off, the entire crypto market was bleeding out, and this thing called the Fear and Greed Index was showing extreme fear. It was a bad day all around.
And the market reality gets even messier when you throw in another classic crypto ingredient, a little bit of human drama, with some serious allegations and some very, very big players.
So this is the timeline that's cast a huge shadow over the whole project. Right after they got this massive listing on Coinbase, an analyst came out and claimed the team had secretly created 1 million new tokens out of thin air. And then, to make it look even worse, it seemed like a wallet connected to the team sold off nearly $500,000 worth. It looked really, really bad, like classic insider manipulation. And yet, right in the middle of all this doubt, all this controversy, a major investor, a whale, did something completely nuts. They decided to buy more, a lot more.
And we're not talking about just any investor. This whale had already lost a jaw-dropping $2.76 million on VVV. But instead of running for the hills, they doubled down, throwing in another $1.88 million. That is a massive vote of confidence, basically screaming that they believe a huge rebound is coming, no matter what the controversy is.
So here we are, caught between these two powerful, completely opposite forces. On one side, you have the incredible promise of the tech. On the other, the dark cloud of scandal and fear. And that brings us to the two very different futures for VVV.
This slide just lays it out perfectly. You've got the bull case, the super optimistic view, which is all about the fundamentals. It has real-world use, it's getting more popular, and its supply is designed to shrink over time, which should push the price up. But then you have the bear case, the pessimistic side, which is all about trust. Those allegations are still hanging out there, scaring people off, and because it's an AI token, its price is super sensitive to market hype. So for traders, this whole epic battle just comes down to a few numbers on a chart. There's this huge wall of resistance around $6.68. If the price can punch through that, we could see a massive rally. But there's also a critical floor at $5.64. If it breaks below that, we could see it tumble all the way down to $4. And so that leaves us with the ultimate question. What is VVV, really? Is it a genuine technological revolution, a tool that could change the future of AI? Or is it just another high-stakes poker chip in the wild crypto casino, driven more by hype and drama than by its actual vision? In the end, the battle between those two stories is going to decide everything.